Good morning, everybody. This interim guideline on academic instruction has the following legal basis. First, we have the DepEd Order number 12, Series 2020, entitled Adoption of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan for School Year 2020-2021 in light of the COVID-19 in public health emergency. This is actually a package of education interventions that will respond to basic education challenges brought about by COVID-19. If you would like to have a copy of this, just print the 883 pages of this memorandum. Next, we have the DepEd Memorandum Curriculum Implementation 2020-00162 entitled Suggested Strategies in Implementing Distance Learning Delivery Modalities for School Year 2020-2021. This issuance covers descriptions and considerations for each DLDM, the map of learning resources for each DLDM, and propose actions to address potential challenges in implementing DLDM. Third, we have DepEd Order number 031 series of 2020, the interim guidelines for assessment and grading in light of the basic education learning and continuity plan. This provides us guidance on the assessment of student learning and on the grading scheme being adopted this school year. Finally, we have the Memorandum of the Office of the Undersecretary Curriculum Implementation 2020-307 entitled Suggested Measures for Foster Academic Ease During the COVID-19 Pandemic. The measures suggested here are expected to enable the learners and learning facilitators to navigate through the challenges of the new normal in the teaching and learning process and make necessary adjustment throughout the school year. This interim guideline will be implemented for the remaining quarters of school year 2020-2021 to reinforce academic instruction and promote inclusive education, ensuring that every aspect of the curriculum support system is responsive to the needs and demands of the diverse learners. On the learning resources, the Bureau of Curriculum Development of DepEd Central Office has mapped the MELCs to the existing learning resources which can be accessed in this link www.bit.do/melcslr. So take note of this link because unlike in quarters 1 and 2, modules 1 to 8 in grades 1 to 12, which were division initiated in all learning areas, quarters 3 and 4 are NCR based now, and these were equally divided among 16 divisions by grade level. Fortunately, SDO Manila was tasked to develop or frame 8 modules and 4 learning activity sheets in grade 7 only in all subject areas for quarter 3 and in music grade 10. So starting third quarter, MELCs mapped textbooks or learning materials, co-issued self-learning modules, and locally developed supplementary learning materials shall be utilized. So again, please take note of the link to have access of these materials during the third quarter. Assigned SDOs led to the Curriculum Implementation Division developed unified supplementary learning materials which shall be adopted and utilized region-wide. Clarification of the SDO assignments on QSLEM and LAS is attached here as Annex A. Video lessons locally developed and quality assured by SDOs shall be utilized in the respective divisions as reinforcement of their lessons. On the other hand, kindergarten video lessons, which were developed in partnership with Save the Children, shall be adopted region-wide. Hence, their video lesson assignments will still be in effect until the fourth quarter. The format of USLEM can be found in the RM number NCR 165 series of 2020 entitled DepEd NCR Supplementary Learning Materials and Instruction Plan. In addition, the following must be considered. USLEM development will only be developed if there is insufficient or no discussion in the mapped LRs and there is no co-issued SLM. A maximum of 10 pages per learning area per week were developed. For SDO assigned to develop ASLEM in music, arts, PE, and health, they have to limit their number of pages to a maximum of 2 pages per component per week. Subjects excluded here from the USLEM development are homeroom guidance, senior high school course subjects, empowerment technologies, and Filipino sa piling larang. SLMs in the MS Teams and LR portal shall be utilized. Good day, everybody. Back to you, Ma'am Leia.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Victorio. And now, to give us information about the SDO Manila assignment, supervisor in charge of SPED and Kinder, none other than Ma'am Amsi M. Esteban.
Okay. A great morning to all of you. I'm Amsi Esteban. My task for today is to present to you Annex A, SDO's assignment, and cover up partial part of the assessment, which was also included in the classroom assessment resource book. All right. As you can see in Annex A, SDO's assignment for Unified Supplementary Learning Materials, or USLEMs, and Learning Assessment Tasks, LAS, for third quarter and fourth quarter. Basically, it's grade 7. We're assigned to produce the modules. You can see the arrow there. And there's a note on the side. Separate memorandum shall be issued for the selected SDO writers who will work together with the CLMD EPS. That's us. For the senior high school core subjects, empowerment technologies, and Filipino sa piling larang, SLMs in the MS teams will be utilized. For arts and design and sports track specialized subjects, the implementing school shall take charge of the development and quality assurance of USLEMs and LAS and DLP. LAS is learning activity sheets. DLP is dynamic learning program. SLM is the self-learning module. And SLEM means supplementary learning materials. And USLEM is the unified supplementary materials, meaning all the different divisions will be unified by the regional office. All the USLEMs will be unified. All right. Now let's move on to the Kinder assignment.
Amsi,
So the assignment of Manila for the third quarter is quarter 3, week 5. The milks under it is to identify the sequence of events before, after, first, next, and last. And for the fourth quarter, Manila will develop, recognize, and name the hour and minute hands in a clock and tell time by the hour. We're already done with the third and fourth quarter. We already submitted to Sir Lucky the third and fourth quarter assignment of kindergarten. And I'm sure all the other subject areas have already submitted. Medyo mabilis ang Manila pagdating sa pagpasa ng modules. So congratulations to all my co-supervisors for that. Now let's move on to the three vital topics on assessment. All exercises indicated in USLEM, SLEM, and SLM are treated as a formative assessment. As per OUCI 2020-307, teachers may opt to identify selected exercises to be answered by the learners. Let me emphasize, you have the option, teachers, to identify selected exercises to be answered by the learners. Kasi medyo pabigat nga ang ating pag madami ng subject areas. Um, uh, Baka ma-stress ang bata sa sobrang dami ng pagsagot sa module. So, naka-indicate dyan na you have the option to identify selected exercises to be answered by the learners. But this should be communicated in the weekly home learning plan, which will be discussed later. This is really important. DepEd Order 31, Series of 2020, or it's called the Interim Guidelines for Assessment in Grading of Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. So ito yung dapat ninyong basahin, pero dapat talaga basahin yan dahil 256 pages na, kaya hindi natin madidiscuss ngayong araw kundi ubos ang oras natin. 256 pages. As per DepEd Order 31 Series of 2020, summative assessment shall be in the form of written works and performance tasks. DepEd NCR would like to reiterate and encourage the conduct of integrative summative assessment tasks. Now, for kindergarten, assessment is not in a form of paper and pencil test, but in the form of play, games, or activities that show their development progress. That's why we are using the ECCD. Even the private schools need to accomplish the ECCD and even our Head Start classes. Kaya nga yung nag-meeting ako with the Head Start and the kindergarten teachers, I explained to them that you need to do this ECCD in order for your learners to be promoted in grade 1. Kaya yung medyo yung numerical ng Head Start is medyo dapat hindi yun ang focus natin. Let's focus first on the ECCD, and then the Head Start learner should level up. Level of difficulty must be challenging for our Head Start or gifted learners or past learners. Kindergarten teachers are advised to refer to the kindergarten MELCs to ensure that assessment activities are aligned. To advocate authentic assessment, DepEd NCR teachers may utilize learning activity sheets, lalo na sa Head Start kasi talagang magle-level up sila sa level of difficulty, or Dynamic Learning Program or DLP as supplementary written works to their classroom-based teacher-made assessment. Orientation on the development of LAS DLP is aligned to MELCs, which was conducted already by the regional office last January 21, 2021. 2021. Okay? Details about the orientation can be found in Annex B. So that's the end of my topic. Let me now turn over to you, Ms. Amalia Solis.
Introduce na eh. Is she in? Okay, to give us updates and to explain to us the Unified Supplementary Learning Material or USLEM, Learning Activity Sheets or LAS, or Dynamic Learning Program DLP, let us all welcome the EPF in charge of Araling Panlipunan and Arabic Language and Islamic Values Education, or ALIVE. Let's all welcome our colleagues in PID, Ma'am Amalia C. Solis. Nalito ako doon na.
Isang ligtas at magandang umaga, malusog na umaga po sa ating lahat. Kumusta na po tayo? Bilang pagpapatuloy po sa ating paksa, no, tunghayan po natin yung talaan ng mga learning materials o mga LMs na gagawin po o i-develop ng mga SDO ngayon pong darating para po sa darating na third quarter at fourth quarter. So tingnan po natin on learning resources, ito po yung pinaka-summary ng mga materials po na ito. So tingnan po natin, no, ang talaan po ay nahahati sa dalawang bahagi. Ang una po ay ang sitwasyon ng ating mga learners materials at mga textbook. Ganon din po yung ating mga SLMs mula sa central office. At ang ikalawang bahagi naman po ay ano ang i-develop o gagawin ng mga SDO na naka-assign dito. Okay. So, suriin po natin yung unang sitwasyon. Meron po diyang 4 na sitwasyon. Ang unang 2 sitwasyon po ay tumutukoy sa kasapatan o sufficient discussion ng mga MELCs na matatagpuan sa mga learners, materials at saka sa textbook. Ganon din po sa SLM. At ang sumunod na 2 po ay ang pagkakaroon ng insufficient discussion or wala po sa kabuuan ng mga learners, materials natin at saka ng mga textbook at SLM. Okay. So, tingnan po natin ang unang sitwasyon. Kapag sufficient po ang discussion sa LM at sa TX or sa textbook, ganun din po mayroon ito sa SLM from the central office. Ang gagawin po, i-develop lamang ng mga SDO ay ang tinatawag nating LAS o Learners Activity Sheets o DLP. Okay. Tingnan po natin ang pangalawang sitwasyon. Sufficient po ang discussion sa LM, ganun din po sa TX. Pero wala pong SLM from the central office. Magkaganon man po, kahit walang SLM from the central office, ay gagawa pa rin po ng LAS at saka ng or DLP. Sa pangatlong sitwasyon po, na insufficient ang discussion or none at all, ang textbook, ganun din po ang LM, pero mayroon pong SLM from the central office, magdi-develop pa rin po ng LAS or DLP. At ang panghuling sitwasyon po, insufficient discussion, ang milk na wala pong matatagpuan nitong discussion sa LM natin at saka sa textbook. Ganon din po, wala sa SLM from the central office. Ang gagawin po ng SDO na naka-assign dito ay gagawa po ng US SLM, no po, o Unified SLM, ganon din po ng LAS o DLP. So ito po yung pagbabatayan po natin sa paggawa po ng mga learning activity sheets o ng mga materials natin. Okay? So higit po nating malilinawan ang prosesong ito sa pagtunghay po sa susunod na slide. Sir AJ. Okay. So sa susunod po na talahanayan, ito po yung USLM last DLP na report updates as of January 25, 2021. So sa talahanayang po ito, makikita natin ano pong grade level, ano pong mga subject areas or mga learning areas, at ilan po ang bilang ng USLM, ganun din po ng LAS na i-develop nila. Okay. So tingnan po natin ang unang column. So sa unang column po, narito ang mga learning area, ang mga grade levels. Tapos po, kasabay nito, across po nito, lahat ng mga learning areas. Okay. So, tingnan po natin, no? So, halimbawa po, ang kindergarten, gagawa po sila ng 10 USLM, pero hindi na po sila gagawa ng LAS. Okay. So, sa MTB po, ang gagawin po nila, halimbawa ay, ang grade 1 lamang po nila, ang mayroong USLM na 8, tapos po, lahat ay may LAS. Okay. Sa Filipino, tingnan po natin yung sitwasyon sa Filipino. Halos lahat po, no, halos lahat ng grade level from grade 1 to grade 10 ay mayroon pong 8 USLM, maliban po sa grade 2 na mayroon lamang 2 USLM at grade 8 na mayroong 4. So ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Ang milk po na naandoon matatagpuan sa mga textbooks, sa mga learners materials po, at saka sa central office po ay hindi sapat. Kaya po, magde-develop po sila ng USLEM. Okay. So, English po. So, sa English po, mayroon din pong lahat na number ng USLEM natin. At ang wala lamang po silang gagawing USLEM ay para sa grade 5 at para sa grade 8. Okay. Meron din pong lahat. Sa math naman po, dalawang grade level po ang hindi gagawaan ng USLEM. Ito po ay ang grade 1 at ang grade 10. Pero po sa ibang grade level, meron din po silang mga nakahanda o inihandang USLEM. Lalahanin po natin, no, na sa mga USLEM po na to, mayroon pong mga divisions na naka-assign kung anong grade level po ang kanilang gagawin. At katulad po ng sinabi ni Ma'am Amsi kanina, at pati po ni Sir Vic, ang Manila po, ang gagawin lamang ay grade 7 in all learning areas. Okay po. So, tingnan po natin ang science. Sa science po, dalawa lamang pong grade level ang gagawa ng USLEM at ito po ay grade 5 at grade 6. Sa araling panlipunan, ang gagawa po lamang ng USLEM ay ang grade 6. Okay, so bakit po yung grade 6 lang ang gagawa ng 6 na USLEM? Hanggang sa kasalukuyan po ay wala pa ring textbook, wala pa rin pong learner's material ang grade 6 ng araling panlipunan. Samantalang ang lahat po ng grade level ay mayroon na po. Kaya grade 6 lang po ang gagawa ng USLEM. Okay. So ang MAPI po, makikita po natin sa talahanayan din na may mga grade levels katulad po ng grade 3 na hindi po gagawaan ng USLEM sa lahat po ng areas nila, no po. Ganun din po ang grade grade 3 lang po pala. Okay, yung pong iba ay halimbawa sa PE meron, sa health po ay wala. So, tingnan po natin yan doon sa ating talahanayan. Okay, ang EPPTLE po ay walang nakalagay dito sa ating talahanayan sa dahilan pong sila po ay by course, no po. So, nagde-develop po ang mga teachers, master teachers, selected teachers, and master teachers, ganun po ang supervisors po ng mga USLEM po, depende po doon sa naka-assign sa kanila, yung pong mga ino-offer nila na ipapahiram din po at gagamitan ng iba pong division. Okay, so kasi by course po sila. Okay, and then sa edukasyon po sa pagpapakatao, ang grade 1, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, at grade 6 po ay walang USLEM. Ang high school po ay gagawaan nila lahat ng USLEM. Okay. So tingnan po natin. Ano po ang pagkakatulad ng lahat ng ito sa lahat ng learning areas? So ang aasahan po natin, lahat po ng learning areas ay mayroon pong i-develop na LAS o learners activity sheets. So ano po yung learners activity sheets niya? So lahat po kami gagawa niyan. Mayroon pong 4 na LAS sa bawat quarter. So ang 4 na LAS na po na yan ay bubuin po ng 4 na pages per LAS. Kaya po mayroong 16 na pages lamang po ng LAS ang magagamit natin, ang makikita natin sa bawat quarter. Okay? So sa Maynila po, ang grade 7 po ang gagawa ng lahat ng mga LAS o USLEM. Depende po dito sa naging resulta ng mapping na to ng central office. Nagagamitin po natin, ganun din po ng ibang division. So grade 7, all learning areas po ang gagawa ng mga learning materials natin. Okay po? So, maaalala rin po natin na ang SDO Manila po ang naka-assign na yan sa grade 7 na po na yan. At ang music naman po para sa 4th quarter ng grade 1 to 10. Okay po. So tunghayan po natin, siguro po ay maliwanag sa atin ang nilalaman ng talaan na ito. So ang importante po ay maibigay natin sa mga bata. Alam ko pong naibigay na natin ang mga textbook, ang mga learners module, ang mga learners material dahil yun na po ang gagamitan nila kaugnay rin po kasama po ng mga LAS or USLEM na ibibigay po sa atin ng region. Okay. So tingnan po natin ang susunod na slide. Okay, sa susunod na slide po, ito po yung slide na to, ay ang quality assurance o QA ng mga USLEM, LAS at DLP. Lahat po ito ay dadaan sa proseso ng LRMS na po o ang ating mga Learning Resource Management Section. Sa tatlong level po, sa school level, sa division level, at sa regional level. So sino-sino pong involved sa gawaing ito? Ito po yung ating mga master teachers, head teachers, principals, CID and CLMD education program supervisors, the chief of the CID and CLMD. So lahat po isla ay gagawa ay magkasama sa proseso ng pag-check at pag-validate ng mga USLEM at ng ating mga LAS. So, lahat po ng proseso, forms at guides sa paggamit ng available learning resources ay ma-access po natin sa link na ito. Okay po? So, sana po ay naging maliwanag sa ating lahat ang mga gagamitin mo nating learning materials para po sa ikatlong quarter, ganun din po sa ikaapat na quarter. Maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Solis, to explain to us the necessary steps that will guide us to meet the quality assured standards of USLEM, LAS, DLP from the region down to the division, to our division. Let us all welcome the supervisor in charge of MAPE, none other than Mr. Luis M. Anchilo, to present to us the process flow.
Hello, good morning po. Good morning. So, ang akin po ay ang SDO, LED, LAS or DLP, and USLEM, process flow. Okay. After developing the module, the SDO quality assured materials will be submitted to the learning area supervisor, quality assurance on content and language. So for this, develop po ng ating module writers, then isasabit po sa ating mga EPS for the content validation and language validation. The learning resource supervisor, quality assurance on technical design. Sila naman po ang mag-check, ang LRMS po ang mag-check ng specifications kung okay po ang nagawang USLEM. From this point, ipapasa po ito sa CLMD chief, no? And the chief will validate the findings of the EPS based on the criteria given by the validation of materials. Should there be findings, regional office will return the materials to the developer for revision. If none, developed materials, the RD will endorse the material to the regional director. The assumption of quality assured learning activity sheet or dynamic learning plan and the unified self-learning module is that it is free from content, illustration, language, and copyright issues. Quality assured LAS or DLP and USLEM are accompanied by certification from schools division superintendent. So lahat po ng mga writers na master teachers at yung po mga department head na content validators, see to it na wala po tayong nababangga dito pagdating sa content, sa illustration na naging magkakaroon ng issue ng copyright. Tandaan po natin, napakahirap po ng sitwasyon kapag napasok tayo dito sa tinatawag nating copyright infringement issue. Okay. So from the development team shall submit the quality assured materials, EPS in charge shall validate and together with CLMD chief will make recommendation if revisions are necessary. 2. Should there be no revision, material shall be endorsed to the regional director. And after this, the use ito po ay para naman po for ready na ng distribution. So yun lang po ang process flow ng ating LAS and DLP for the third and fourth quarter. Thank you and good morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Anchilo. And now to talk about once again, the Education Program Supervisor in charge of EPP, CLE, and TVL. Sir Tosho. Okay.
A pleasant good morning to all of us, school heads, master teachers, department heads, to all our SDO officials. So God is good all the time. So we will now proceed in a quality assurance ASLM. So meaning unified self-learning materials, modules, LAS, and DLP. So uh, quality assured by the SDO should have the necessary certification attesting that they met the standards and are free from copyright issues. Strict compliance to the quality assured process is mandated. Timeline regarding the development up to the finalization is hereby attached as Annex C. So we will look into the Annex C, the timeline. Okay. So these are the timeline on quality assurance. As we can see in 2020, last year, November 16, the regional memo NCR 338 series of 2020 was released, indicating the assignment on the development of self-learning modules. And then the quarter 3, SLEM were developed. In 2021, on January 18 to 22, the quarter 3 review, mapping, and quality assured at SDO level and development. While on the January 23 to 25, the learning activity sheet or LAS were review, and followed by January 26 to 28, the quarter 3 revision, unified self-learning modules, and learning activity sheet. Then on January 29 to January 31, again, the quarter 3 review of the revised ASLEM and learning activity sheet. And now, from February 2021, February 1 to 3, the third quarter finalization ASLEM and learning activity sheet. Then followed by on February 3, submission to regional office of finalized quarter 3 in the learning resources section. Then on February 4 to 12, the regional office and the quality assurance of quarter 3 of learning resource in section. And on February 15, the quarter 3 RTP distribution to SDO. Ang ibig po sabihin ng RTP is ready to print, no? Quarter 3 modules ready to print, distribution to SDO. And then on February 1 to 5, quarter 4. So the quarter 4 will again for development. Then 8 to 12, quarter 4 again review, and February 15 to 19, the quarter 4 for revision. And on February 20 to 26, again the quarter 4 must review of revise. And on March 2021, March 1 to 5, the quarter 4 finalization. Then on March 8, ready for submission to regional office of finalized quarter 4 at the learning resource section. Then on March 9 to 19, the regional office quality assurance of quarter 4 learning resource section. And then on March 22, the quarter 4 RTP distribution to SDO. So meaning on March 22 is ready to print the quarter 4 for distribution to SDO. Okay. Then, next. Okay. So, on quality assurance of SLEM, SLAS, and DLP, the management team are the following. The technical working group, the module writers or SLEM writers, as well as the LAS and DLP, the all validators, illustrators, editors, and layout artists who will be involved in the development up to the finalization of ASLEMS, LAS, and DLP, as well as its quality assurance shall be entitled to service credits in accordance with DepEd Order number 53, series of 2003, entitled Updated Guidelines on the Grant of Vacation Service Credits to Teachers. However, non-teaching personnel, including management staff, shall be given with CTO or compensatory time off per Civil Service Commission. And the Department of Budget Management, DBM, Joint Circular Number 2, Series of 2004 on non-monetary remuneration for overtime service rendered, specific attention on Section 5. So, kung meron po kayong question dyan, pwede niyo pong balikan yan at basahin para mas maging malinaw pa po sa atin. So once again, thank you so much. God is good all the time. God bless you all.
Yes, God is good all the time. Thank you very much, Sir Tosho. To explain further the learning delivery, please welcome the supervisor in charge of EPP and HE. Let's welcome Ma'am Carmelita Del Morantan. Del Moral. Del Mora. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Game lang. Okay. Good morning.
Kasi Del Moran ang sabi
On learning delivery, starting this third quarter, all public schools in the NCR, which our division is included, will have a midweek break to give way to non-curricular activities like leadership training, where our officers in the SSD and SPG are being trained on leadership, and also sports like basketball, volleyball, and others. Scouting, training on independent learning. Also included are the training on the different contests. This midweek break will be half day only for those taking special curricular program and for senior high school. But for the regular schools, in elementary and high school, this is taken for the whole day. This midweek break is in consonance of DepEd Order 14, series of 2020, entitled Guidelines on the Required Health Standards in Basic Education Offices and Schools, where schools are mandated to further develop the physical and mental resilience of learners throughout the school year. These activities should be done inside the confines of the home of the learners. So, hindi po pupunta ang mga learners sa school. And should follow health protocols. Sample schedules per key states is attached on Annex D of DepEd Order and will be explained and discussed to us by the next speaker. Thank you and good morning.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Tan, to give us clear understanding on the learning delivery And to show a sample schedule, let us all welcome none other than Dr. Rivelinda T. Soriano.
Happy morning, everyone. My task this morning is to discuss with you the sample class schedule as indicated in the interim guidelines given by the NCR. So, for the moment, let us think and recall the class schedule that you're using now, and let us compare with what we have for this interim guidelines. Let's start with the for kindergarten. You will notice that the learners in the kindergarten should have at least 180 minutes, the time allotment for each learner. So therefore, we are going to develop a learning plan or the sample schedule for kindergarten that will uh, get the what this 180 minutes. So notice that in this kind of sample schedule for kindergarten, you will notice that in each subject or in each Mondays and Thursdays, we have two for one class section or one section in kindergarten. If you're handling two sections in kindergarten, and I know that each teacher in kindergarten handles two sections. So on Mondays and on Thursdays, you're going to have one section, and Tuesdays and Fridays you also have one section. So it's an alternate siya. But look at the Wednesday schedule. It is indicated that on Wednesday, you have to have a non-curricular activities. At ito po ang tinatawag nilang, it's a midweek break for the students. Kasi mukhang meron ng problems na nakakarating na hindi lang sa division office but from the sa regional level that there is really a problem when it comes to parang na-overwhelmed ba? Mukhang, mukhang from Mondays to Fridays ang bata ay napaka. Parang ang ini-indicate doon sa major problem ay wala nang bakante ang mga bata, even in kindergarten. So, they develop this kind of sample schedule wherein the time allotment for each class or each learner you are to follow. Really, it's the 180 minutes, but there is a need for you to have that Wednesday break. It's mandatory. We have to follow, my dear fellow educators, the non-curricular activities. So what are these non-curricular activities? It's a non-academic, so scouting pwede dyan. Ano pang activities na pwede na hindi siya academic period? So ayan po siya. There is a need for a midweek break. Ang tawag po ay midweek break for the learners to parang to relax. Not only the learners, but also the teachers. Okay, next. For grade 3, the time allotment in minutes, all learning areas will have 2 meetings per week. So the same as the kindergarten, you have to have 2 meetings per week. So pwedeng Mondays and Thursdays, Tuesdays and Fridays. And again, I will repeat, we are going to have that Wednesdays for a non extracurricular activities. Yan ay the midweek break. So in here, you can have, for example, for mathematics in grade 3, section 1, example, for Monday, 125, and on Thursdays, 125, and mayroon 125 and 125, so 250 minutes. At kung regular class siya without this kind of pandemic that we have, 250 minutes ang dapat dun sa bata. So, ang ibig lang sabihin, the required time limit or the minutes for each subject area, dapat makuha siya even sa pandemic period that we have now. For next, and so with grade 4, all learning areas will also have 2 meetings per week, and nandiyan ang Monday, yung Wednesday. You can adapt this, why not? You can adapt this kind of programming that be very, you are to concentrate on that Wednesdays that we have. I will repeat, the midweek break. And next po, for grade 7, it's the same as grade 3, grade 4, and so with the kindergarten, that you are going to really focus on the time allotment for every subject area. So this is an example of a grade 7 sample schedule, and you can follow this one example. For mathematics, we have 4 hours a week. So if you're going to have it on Mondays and on Thursdays, so 120 per day, and another for in Monday and in Thursday, you will also have 120. So in a total of 4 hours. So just follow this kind of schedule so you can have parang best schedule that you will be having for the remaining 2 quarters, the third and the fourth quarter. But on Wednesdays, we have the SPAs and the special curricular activities in your school and the non-academic activities in the school. You are to have this kind of programs during Wednesdays. And the last one, EJ, for the senior high school, you have one Mondays, the core subject, and another 2. So it's an interval thing, the same as the other subject areas or the grade levels. All you have to do is to have, you are to think always. So just remember this, that the time allotment for every subject should be followed. So this is an example of a senior high school sample schedule. Thank you, everyone. Good morning.
Wow. Thank you too, Ma'am Soriano. To explain further the learning delivery on the part of our learners, let us all welcome the Education Program Supervisor in charge of science, none other than Ma'am Rebecca M. Rojas, to share with us the weekly home learning.
Na-introduce na ako. Okay. To ensure, as was stated by Ma'am, good morning pala, morning. Makakalikasang umaga po sa ating lahat. As was stated by Dr. Soriano, we should follow a certain schedule and to ensure that learners are on tasks and are guided on what they are expected to accomplish within a specific week. Teachers shall prepare a weekly home learning plan. It was stated on DMCI 2020 the 00162. The weekly home learning plan should be in consonance with the schedule as stated nga a while ago by none other than Dr. Soriano. Okay. In, in preparation of the weekly home learning plan and class programs, school shall comply with the recommended screen time for learners as per DMCI 2020-00162. The screen time guidelines by age as recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, and the World Health Organization is as follows. Kindergarten, maximum of 1 hour daily. Grade 1 to 5, a maximum of 1.5 hours daily. Grade 6 to 8, a maximum of 2 hours daily. Grades 9 to 12, maximum of 4 hours daily, meaning 2 hours in the morning and another 2 hours in the afternoon is recommended. Next. Now, here is a sample of a weekly home learning plan. Now, if you will notice, this is different from what we are using in quarters 1 and 2. In quarters 1 and 2, we are using the block plan. And sa science po, we are using the weekly home learning plan, pero hindi po siya ganitong per class schedule. Ginagawa po natin individually. Yung teacher ng AP, meron siyang sariling block plan. Yung teacher ng TLE, may sarili siyang block plan. Teacher ng science, may sarili siyang block plan. Na yun po siguro ang isang factor kung bakit parang feeling ng mga bata ay overtask sila. Ngayon, with this new weekly home learning plan, nakikita na po naman, kasi hindi po nakikita ng mga guro yung block plan ng AP, ng science, hindi ko nakikita yung block plan ng AP, hindi ko nakikita yung block plan ng English. So siguro nagkakaroon tayo ng overlapping. But with this weekly home learning plan, based on the schedule of the students, of the learners, makikita po ngayon ng mga estudyante, ng teacher, na yung kanilang task ba ay nagpapatong ba. So, imposible po ngayon magpatong-patong ang mga aktibidades nila because meron po tayong guide. Yun nga po, as stated a while ago, 2 subjects, 2 meetings lang a week ang per subject. Like, nakita niyo po sa sample natin, sa Monday, pag Monday, tingnan niyo po muna sa oras na 7 to 8. Di po ba sabi dyan, wake up, make up your bed, eat breakfast, do an exercise, and get ready for an awesome day. Yan, ibig sabihin, ipiprepare po yung mga bata for 7 to 8. Pagdating ng 8 to 10, Monday, math time niya. So, doon po sa time na yon ng Monday, ilalagay na ni teacher yung mga dapat niyang, ng teacher ng math, yung activities niya for the week. Pero pwede pong hati muna kasi 2 meetings naman per week ang bawat subject area. So in this day, Monday, nakalagay po doon kung anong milks ang dapat na ma-discuss sa mga bata, na matutunan ng bata. Milks 1 to 2, 1 to 3, week 1, milk 4, week 2. Yan po yung competency na dapat matutunan ng bata. Nakalagay po dapat yan sa weekly home learning plan. And if you will notice, meron pong nakalagay LT. Ano po ibig sabihin ng LT? It means the learning tasks. Ano po yung gagawin ng bata? Mag-answer siya ng last written work on milks written above. Naka-specify po. And then, N means notes to parent. Yun po yung role ng parent naman. Lalagay din po natin doon sa weekly home learning plan yung role ng parent to remind the learner about academic integrity. Submit last on the designated date prescribed by teacher. Kindly accomplish the self-monitoring tool. Yan po yung laman nung Monday, 8 to 10, na gagawin ng bata sa math. Pagdating naman po ng Tuesday, ng 10:15, at magbe-break muna po ang bata ng 10 to 10:15. Pero it does not mean na the whole 2 hours na yun sa math ay focus ang bata sa online or nasa sa internet po siya. Hindi po ibig sabihin ganon. Pwede po yung synchronous, pwede rin po yung asynchronous. Depende sa schedule na binigay ninyo sa mga teachers. And then, pagdating po ng 10:15 to 12:15, may English naman po siya. Ganon din po, ilalagay ko ano yung MELCs, then the learning tasks, then the note to the parent, at kung ano po yung competency dapat specified po doon, naka-specific po na nakalagay kung anong competency. Ganyan lang po kasimple yung weekly home learning plan. And then, pagdating po ng 12:15 to 1, may break, lunch break, magla-lunch si bata. And then, 1 to 3:15, ay PLE naman niya. And then, 3:15 to 4:15, AP. And then, 4:45 to 6, consultation period. Now, hindi po ibig sabihin na laging math ang Monday niya, ha? Pwede pong mabago to, depende sa schedule na ginawa ng class, depende po sa nasa class program. So, ang kaibahan po nito sa dati nating ginagamit na block plan is that ito po ngayon ay consolidated. Kumbaga, alam ni teacher, alam ni bata kung ano na ang gagawin niya the whole week. At hindi po ngayon tayo nagpapatong-patong ng mga activities. Kaya mas maganda po ito sa ating dati nang nakagawian na block plan. Yung akin din pong, ako po gumagawa na sa science ng weekly home learning plan. Pero again, kamukha po nung block plan, ako lang po rin, science din lang po, ako po ay science teacher, ako lang din po nakakakita ng aking weekly home learning plan. Hindi po nakikita ng ibang teachers, hindi po nakikita ng ibang subjects. With this, nagkakaroon po ngayon ng cooperation ang bawat teacher, bawat subject teacher ng estudyante nila. Okay. Another. Ang tanong po dito is this, sino po ang gagawa ng weekly home learning plan? Paano pong pipil-upan ni math teacher? Paano pong pipil-upan ni science teacher? Paano pong pipil-upan ni English ni Filipino teacher? Alangan namang mag face-to-face sila. Pwede rin po hindi naka face-to-face, AJ. Isi-share lang po ni AJ kasi po pwede po tayong magawa ng Google Sheet. Pwede po tayong gumawa ng Google Sheet or Google Drive na open po siya, isi-send natin sa bata at saka sa mga teachers ng ating section na ilalagay doon mismo ng teacher, na halimbawa teacher ng math, ilalagay niya to kung ano yung gagawin niya the whole week. Divided po yan ng 2 meetings. Ganon din po yung science teacher. Ilalagay din po niya, ayan po. Ito po ay na-edit po yan. Pwede pong, ang bata po ay titingin lang siya, makakakita. Pero ang teacher po, pwede niya ma-edit yan kasi sa week 1, halimbawa po, week 1, na-accomplish na. Susunod na week, ito pa rin po. Diyan pa rin po sila mag-fill up. Kaya, hindi na po kailangan mag-meet pa si advisor, pero pwede rin naman mag-meet ang advisor once in a while at saka sa subject teacher. Pero ito po, pwede na siyang online nila na mapipil upan po nila yan at makikita na po ng bata. Pag inopen ng bata yung link, makikita po ng bata kung ano ang dapat niyang gawin the whole week. Hindi po ba mas mainam ito, mas maganda, at mas maayos sa ating mga learners? Yan po ang isang sample lang ng grade 7. Now, ang importante po ay another addition sa comparison sa block plan natin, kailangan po nakalagay yung schedule lang ng bata doon sa Google Sheet. Yung po ang nakalagay yung schedule niya, and then the teacher, the subject, para yung subject teacher, siya na pong mag-e-enter. Yan po ay true to all grade level. Sample ko lang po ngayon ay grade 7, and then kahit anong grade 4, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hanggang 10, hanggang senior high school, pwede po yan. At break po talaga nila ng Wednesday. So, kung meron po kayong question about the preparation of weekly home learning plan, paki-chat lang po sa chat box. At na-try na po namin yung viability nang magpapalit po tayo ng schedule, hindi po masyado siyang tasking sa atin na ilibre po natin yung ating Wednesday dahil nakapag-try na po kami, Ma'am Eva, permission, minit ko na po yung aking science head teacher sa Araulio at nagpagawa na po ako ng sample na schedule na off ang Wednesday at nakamatch naman po sa class program. Pwede ko naman po siyang i-share kung kailangan niyo po. Pero kayang-kaya po yan ng mga head teachers natin gumawa ng ating sample weekly home learning plan na nakamatch po sa, ayan, nakamatch po sa class schedule at nakamatch din po sa teachers program. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma'am Roja. And now, to share with us the digital modular sample and self-monitoring tools, may I present to you the Education Program Supervisor in charge of ESP and guidance, none other than our very own Dr. Lucita A. Henner. Ano kasi ako?
Yes, hello. A blessed morning to all of us. So let us continue our discussion on the interim guidance. Attached in the Annex E of the Regional Memorandum on Interim Guidance is this self-learning monitoring tool. So what is this self-learning monitoring tool? This will be accomplished by the learners and the learning facilitators like parents and will be submitted to the teachers to be used as a tool for feedbacking, tracking, and learners' progress. And so here is the example of the self-monitoring tool that teachers can be used to both to record evidences on learning and to give feedback to the learners and their parents. So the self-learning monitoring plan serve as a guide of the teachers to monitor the progress of the learners or to give feedback on the learners. Okay, next. So here in the monitoring tool, pakibalik sir. Meron tayo para sa mag-aaral. And ano-ano ba yung mga nakalagay para sa mag-aaral? Mga tanong na anong mga asignatura ang napag-aralan mo ngayon? So lalagyan ni teacher, ni subject teacher, yung para sa Monday, Martes, Merkules, Huwebes, Biyernes, and Sabado. Then meron din tayong tanong doon na kumusta na ang mga aralin mo ngayon? Alin sa mga ito ang madali para sa'yo at bakit? So ilalagay siya ni teacher. May mga gusto ka bang itanong sa mga guro tungkol sa aralin? Ilista mo dito ang iyong mga tanong. Okay. So that is for 1 week accomplishment. Para naman sa mga magulang, meron din tayo na tool, monitoring tool. The questions are, nagawa ba ng iyong anak ang kanyang mga gawain sa paaralan ngayong araw? Una muna, on Monday, nagawa ng bata mag-isa. Nagawa ng bata sa tulong ng mga ng iba, bawa magulang, kapatid, o kasama sa bahay. Then pangatlo naman ay di nagawa. Question number 2, kumusta ang pag-aaral ng iyong anak? May mga gusto ka bang iulat o itanong sa kanyang guro? Isulat mo ang iyong mga puna, suggestion o tanong. So, ganun yung gagawin araw-araw. And then after this, ito po ay isasubmit ng magulang o ng bata sa teacher para magkaroon pa rin ng feedbacking ang teacher at kung nagkaroon ba talaga ng learning ang bata sa isang linggong aralin. Okay. So, still on learning delivery, principals, being the lead implementer of curriculum, instruction, and assessment in the school, are devised to strategize the distribution and collection of all outputs as well as assessment, feedbacking, and feedbacking tools. So kasama na nga dyan yung tinatawag natin na uh, self-monitoring tool. And they also consider the number of learners being handled by each teacher. Hence, collection of these outputs and assessments are and feedbacking tools are advised to be scattered on the different days of the week. So this is to lessen the burden of the teachers in checking and giving feedback, as well as to give learners ample time to accomplish these schoolwork. So self-monitoring tool, as indicated in the Annex C of the interim guidance, will be submitted to the subject teacher on the assigned day of submission. So maybe the assigned day of submission is at the end of the week in a quarter. And the teacher should be able to return the feedback to the parents, to the learners, with action or with additional activities or intervention on self-learning monitoring tool the following week. So, next, sir. On your screen, you can see another example of weekly home learning plan. This is also for grade 7, and this is for digital modular learning modality or DMDL. So, home learning plan is important because it serves as guide of parents and the learners on their child in accomplishing learning cited in the module per week. So these are this monitoring this WHLP are important to parents and learners para maiwasan na rin yung mga tatanong lagi ng learners saka ng parents. Sabihin, ma'am, ano po yung page na sasagutan? O di kaya, ano po yung sasubmit? Saan po isasubmit? Kaya kailangan may plano na katulad nito para to make sure na meron silang susundan. And to make it sure na hindi mawawala yung mga bata, kailangan nila ng plan na, ang teacher, kailangan niya ng plan na clear and detailed to avoid many questions and to avoid confusions na rin. However, meron naman tayo diyang consultation, kaya anytime, ang bata ay pwede naman na mag-consult. So sino ba yung kailangan gumawa ng weekly learning plan and paano ba ito gagawin? This will be prepared by subject teacher and advisors. Ano-ano ba yung kailangan i-prepare kung gagawa ng weekly home learning plan? Anong kailangan natin i-prepare? So una muna, kailangan ng teacher ng isang subject teacher ng individual home learning plan. Example, sa ESP, meron siyang sarili niyang home learning plan. Each teacher, each subject area teacher needs to make or to prepare their weekly home learning plan. Then it is submitted to the advisors. Sasabit siya sa advisor for consolidation para maipasok dito sa weekly home learning plan na ganito yung itsura. So, nakikita nyo dito sa home learning plan na sample na ito sa digital modular modality, na meron siyang, nag-a-appear dito yung day and time. No, nakikita natin dito yung day and time. Then yung learning areas, lahat ng learning areas are included in this weekly home learning plan. And also the learning competencies in each subject area pa rin. So makikita natin na nakapasok dito lahat ng subject, pati yung ating homeroom guidance. Nandito rin siya, kasali na siya sa scheduling. So ano ba yung learning competency, yung LT na sinasabi natin? Ito yung mga learning task, kung ano yung gagawin. So bawat subject And then bawat time at bawat araw, meron naka-indicate na learning task na kailangan gawin ng bata at kailangan ding makita ng magulang. So nandun din yung learning competencies na nakalagay dyan. Ano ba yung KSAV or yung knowledge, skills, attitude, and values that needs to demonstrate in every lesson or in every learning activities. Ay nakalagay dyan lahat. Nandiyan din yung mode of delivery. No? Ito ba ay since digital ito, asynchronous ito lahat at sa bahay ginagawa through digital mode. And also, makikita rin sa baba o dun sa mga sa legend niya, the self-monitoring tool will be submitted. So after this WHLP, natapos niya after ng 1 week, yan, isasubmit na din kay teacher yung self-monitoring tool for every week. Yan nga, para nga magkaroon ng feedback at ma-trace or ma-track ang learning progress ng bata. So another example here, yes, grade 7 again. Online naman ito. Online distance learning mode. So yung tinatawag natin na ODL, no, learning mode. So still the same as other examples. Also parts of the WHP are indicated. Indicate din dyan lahat. The difference is the time are the same, dates are the same, learning subject areas are the same, except that here there are synchronous, no? Meron ditong mga synchronous. You will notice that every day there is one synchronous activity for each day. Iba-ibang subject yung nagsisynchronous. Merong first subject, tingnan nyo yung Monday, sa Monday natin, all of them are synchronous except yung kanyang TLE. No, yung TLE niya ay synchronous. No, with the subject teacher in TLE. So that is 2 hours because as it provided by the guideline of the WHO, for grade 6 to 7 or to 8, maximum of 2 hours only daily is the screen time of the learners. So, isa lang ang synchronous per day. So, sa Tuesday, makikita nyo din na meron din tayong isang synchronous. Yun ay ang homeroom guidance, yung nandun sa pinakababa sa second day. Then we will notice also that on Wednesday, there's a midweek break, no, na tinatawag natin, midweek break, wherein papasok dyan yung mga special curriculum programs and also the non-curricular programs. Yung bang para may mga conditioning the mental health of the teachers and also the learners para makapag-unwind naman sila. For Tuesday, you can also notice that there is also one synchronous class, and that is for mathematics. So each subject here is given one synchronous mode of learning per week. So still, on the online modality, the self-learning tool is also required to accomplish by the learner and the parents. Still, for the teachers to provide feedback on the week's activities and to follow up also and to give more or additional intervention as regards to the learning for that week. That's all, and thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma'am Hene, to share with us the learning delivery on reading and the monitoring evaluation tools. Let us hear from the education program supervisor, in charge of Filipino and MTB MLE. Dr. Edwin R. Mabilin. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. On the line of reading, delivery, and monitoring, reading is still relevant and most essential among the four macro skill: the reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Reading skill to foster independent learning among K to 3 learners. Given the current remote learning situation, the teachers need to be able to guide parents in teaching their children to how to read. Kaya dito, napakahalaga pa rin ng pagbasa. Kasi reading is the most essential macro skill in the posters of learning. Kaya naman dito sa K to 3, binigyan natin ng pansin kung paano ba nagwo-work ang reading in the delivery of learning. Then to attain this for game, lecture workshop for teacher and parents shall be conducted for them to gain understanding of the importance, let's say, for example, beginning reading and for the academic and practical lives for the student, as well as their roles in rising fluent lifelong readers. The separate memo will be issued regarding this. In the SDO Manila, we plan to enhance reading competency of the student with the combination of with the cooperation of the parents and teacher. Kaya dito sa NCR nagsimula na kami ng beginning reading. Nagsimula nung last week, bali apat ito na ginagawa sa NCR na every Saturday, one. And then dito naman sa ating SDO para ma-enhance yung makapacitate yung teacher at then magkaroon ng cooperation with the parents, meron tayong binuo na tatawagin natin marongko. Okay? Ito ay ang sakop dito ay yung grade kinder to grade 3. I-enhance natin yung capacity ng mga bata na magbasa. And then sa grade 4 to 10, magkakaroon tayo ng reading program both asynchronous and synchronous para nang sa ganoon yung reading ay ma-enhance on the delivery para maging lifelong. Sabi nga natin, ang curriculum, kahit noong normal at saka new normal, nandun pa rin yung kakayahan ng curriculum na makabuo ng isang Pilipinong ganap at kapakitak-kinabang na mag-aaral na may literacy na kanyang magagamit lifelong readers. Kaya ang essential pa rin ang reading na hindi natin pwedeng iwalayan. Then on monitoring and evaluation, we have set our 4 category. Unang-una ay ang sa curriculum, then the number 2 is instruction, number 3 in learning resources and assessment. On the monitoring and evaluation, the curriculum and instruction division shall regularly monitor and evaluate the implementation of the guidance and submit periodic status report to the curriculum and learning management division for the purpose of the provision and technical assistance and aid to future guidelines and policy recommendation. See the Annex C for the monitoring and evaluation plan for serve as a TA and guidelines or for the future policy. On monitoring and evaluation, we have number 1 is curriculum. What will be monitored? Attainment of the intended curriculum. Then the strategy is the MELC. Okay, we always consult with the MELC online survey. Then the Q1 on December 10, 2020 to January 2021, 22-21, naganap na po ito. And then the Q2, the quarter 2 will be on February 22 to March 19. And then the Q3, April 19 to May 21. And the last one is the Q4, June 7 to 30. And on the instruction, we will be monitored learning delivery, class schedule, and weekly home learning plan, beginning reading program. What is the strategy? SDO completes the monitoring complete and regional office random validation, reading assessment, and checklist. Regarding the learning resources, what will be monitored? Siyempre, yung tinatawag nating development and utilization regarding the module. The strategy, accomplishment of quality assured tools, monitoring checklist for the utilization and regional office random validation conducted by the LR and learning area of EPSS. On the assessment, what will be monitored? Formative and summative assessment, including integrative assessment. Then, what is the strategy? Analyze formative assessment using Annex E, self-monitoring tools, analyze last DLP, score, and other integrative and summative assessment. Once again, good morning and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Mabilin. I'd like to inform all of you that the attendance and evaluation links will be provided for you in the chat box later after the webinar. Thank you. And finally, to orient us about the Unified Supplementary Learning Materials, or USLEM, and Learning Activity Sheet, or LAS, which will be adopted and utilized not only in our division, but also region-wide. Let us now welcome Mr. Lucky Carpio, OIC Education Program Supervisor in charge of LRMS. Take it away, sir.
Happy morning and happy working, everyone. This morning orientation on interim guideline covers mapping of content, timeline of development, learning delivery, flowchart of quality assurance, and monitoring and evaluation. And this morning, the LR part is on specifications of page design, typography, and elements. For the LAS and USLEM, as mentioned by previous speakers, LAS learning activity sheets and USLEM unified self-learning modules, page design, typography, and elements. As mentioned earlier, LAS is learning activity sheets as supplementary written works to their classroom-based or teacher-made assessment. For LAS shall be developed or provided every quarter per learning area, maximum of 4 pages per LAS or DLP. For the elements of LAS, we shall have to follow elements of the project RAIN of the region. I think it was on last year, 2019. For about Project RAIN, RAIN is an enforcement aid intended for no classes. It was year 2019. Okay, the elements, name, date, rating or score, title, directions, activity, and then of course the footnote, the specific week, the target competency, and of course the note to the teacher. For the last page design and layout, here, the grade level, the paper size, the orientation, the margin, the alignment, the line spacing. For kinder to grade 3, the paper size is A4, orientation is landscape, the margin, top, bottom, meaning all sides is in 1 inch. Then alignment, flush left or rag right. Then line spacing, 1.5. For grades 4 to 12, still A4, then the orientation is portrait, same margin, all 1 inch, all sides, then flush left, rag right. Then of course line spacing 1 or single. For the last typography, kinder to grade 2, for the font and font type or font size, yung text niya 16, font size niya, then Century Gothic, the heads or maybe the title 20 to 30 bold, then the subheads or subtitle 16 to 18. Then art to text ratio, meaning your illustrations, your drawing, your artwork, your diagram, kinder to grade 1, 65% ang art, then 35% only the text ratio. For grade 2, 60% art, then 40% the text ratio. For the last typography for grade 3, text 14, ang font size niya, Century Gothic. The heads is 18 to 28, bold. Then the subheads or subtitle, 14 to 16. Then the art to text ratio, 50, 50. Art, 50%, then text is 50%. For the last typography for grade 4, for the font, then text 14, Arial. The heads is 18 to 28, it's the same. Subheads 14 to 16, then art, text ratio 40 to 60%. For grade 5 to 12, all Arial. For the text, 11 to 12 or 11 or 12 yung font size, then Arial. The head is 15 to 24 only. Subheads 11 to 13. Then art to text ratio, 30% yung art niya. Then of course the text is 70%. For the USLAM, way back then, we have our SLAM, the self-learning modules. Now with you, because unified, meaning all the division offices will use the same template, same typography, same elements, and so on and so forth. Conceptualized to aid students in learning while at home. Ensures access to education for all learners across social status, anchored on the most essential learning competencies. For considerations, lessons should reflect the 5 C's as part of the following learning outcomes. Okay, let's recall the 5 C's. The critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, and character building. One USLAM is good for a week. One USLAM contains 2 lessons. However, if there are lessons need more discussions and activities, you may have 1 lesson in the USLAM, meaning you have 1 lesson in 1 SLAM or per week. Open sources such as creativecommons.org or any government sites may be accessed for free artworks, but still, original work is always encouraged. Then the use of LR referencing guide, meaning we are using the APA referencing guide. For the USLAM elements, it's the same thing with our SLAM before. When we had our first and second quarter, the expectations, then in Filipino, inaasahan, pre-test, unang pagsubok, looking back, balik tanaw, brief, introduction, maikling pagpapakilala ng aralin, activities, gawain, remember, tandaan, checking your understanding, pag-alam sa natutunan, and natutuhan, then post-test, pangwakas na pagsusulit. Meaning, these are all be presented and indicated and demonstrated in one USLAM. For the USLAM page design, for grade level, paper size, orientation, margin, alignment, and line spacing. For kinder, of course, still A4, then landscape, then all sides are in 1 inch, then K to grade 3, flash left, rag right, then for grades 4 to 12, body text justified. For line spacing, for kinder, 1.5, then grade 1 to 12, single spacing, single space. For USLAM typography, kinder and grade 2, here, the font and of course, the font type, Century Gothic, then third quarter alphabeto or Century Gothic. Text, 16. 16 ang size natin. Then heads or title, 20 to 30, bold. Subheads or subtitle, 16 to 18. Then of course, pagdating po sa art to text, kinder to grade 1, 65 yung art, then 35% only yung text. Then grade 2, 60 yung art, then 40 po yung text. Then for grade 3, still Century Gothic or alphabeto, text 14, heads 18 to 28, subheads or subtitle 14 to 16, then art to text ratio 50-50%. For the typography for grade 4, still Arial, Times New Roman, or Bookman Old Style. For the text, 14, yung size natin. Heads 18 to 28, subheads 14 to 16. Then of course, for the art to text ratio, 40% to 60%. For grade 5 to 12, still Arial Times New Roman or Bookman old style, text 11 to 12, then heads 15 to 24 only, subheads 11 to 13 only. Then, of course, for the art to text ratio, 30-70%. Okay, here are some LR forms to be submitted. Yun po ay from the writers going to the supervisors or validators up to the LR and of course up to the division office, meaning our chief and superintendent. For the summary of findings, covers, for example, learning area, grade level, then of course region. Ano pong nakalagay doon? Paragraph line, page number, then of course chronological order kasi ito sa validators. Then lesson number or maybe module number. Then brief description of errors or findings or observation. Then another, specific recommendations on the identified errors. Then for copyright originality form, of course, here, title or description of the work, then who is the creator, and of course, with the condition of use. For the Annex 4, writer assignment agreement, the agreement is made, for example, ano yung position ng teacher, sino si teacher, anong school niya, then mayroon po ditong mga waive of rights. Kasama yan. Actually, we are doing this particularly on our modules assigned by CO and of course, by regional office. We are doing this particularly for IMLB4 up to now, then of course for Mathematics 9, and this third quarter, all our grade 7 last and USLEM. For the artwork assignment, of course, kung kayo ay may original na artwork, mayroon din po tayo na annexes na to na kailangang i-accomplish ni writer and to be submitted upon submitting the complete LAS or USLEM. Then for the model release form, for example, you photograph or a person, for example, your pupil, ganyan, isang tao, then you have that particular agreement form or release form. The next, list of development team, anong region, anong division, anong name ng writer, anong designation niya, and of course the role, contact number, then the email address. Then for the inventory of third-party content, mahalaga po ito. Let's say there is a title, description of third-party content, sino po yung creator ng pinagkuhaan niya, copyright holder, source and contact detail, nature of copying, then conditions of use nung idinidevelop na material. Then yung last po natin, specialty clearance from SDS, of course, naka-indicate po doon na yan ay quality assure lahat, complete na yan, then to be submitted to regional office or central office, anong title, anong grade level, anong learning area. For example, since assigned sa atin, mayroon tayong sa kindergarten, one MELC for third quarter, one MELC for fourth quarter, then we have for music for fourth quarter, and for third quarter, we have for grade 7, except for MAPE. These are the 8 forms to be submitted by the writers, meaning as a team, sa DO to be submitted to the regional office for this third quarter. These are all for the specifications for LR. Thank you so much.